Did you know that this 1915 Cyclone V-Twin could hit over 100 miles per hour, back when most cars were lucky to break 40 miles per hour? Yeah, it's basically the original American speed demon on two wheels. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a motorcycle so yellow it could blind your neighbor from across the street and bankrupt him in the same breath? No? Then buckle up. Because today we're talking about the 1915 Cyclone V-Twin, the two-wheeled equivalent of an antique chainsaw strapped to a rocket dipped in butter. Now, before we crack open the time capsule, make sure to subscribe to Timmy Tiny Wheels, where history rides fast and laughs come cheap. And hey, if you survive this ride through 1915, there's a link to the auction site in the YouTube description. So, what do you get when a genius engineer named Andrew Strand decides he's tired of boring motorcycles that don't explode with torque and style? You get this, the 1915 Cyclone V-Twin. It came out when people still thought margarine was a chemical weapon, and somehow this bike had a 61 cubic inch, 996 cubic centimeters, 45-degree V-twin overhead camshaft engine with 45 horsepower. In 1915. That's like finding out your grandpa secretly invented nitrous oxide for his bicycle. Let me paint the scene. You've got a Schiebler carburetor feeding that beast, Bosch magneto ignition sparking it up like an electric eel in a bathhouse, and twist grips for carburetor and ignition advance, because apparently in 1915 people had 5 thumbs. A single-speed gearbox with a clutch under your foot and a Kickstarter on the clutch, because back then, starting your motorcycle also meant starting your workout. And just when you thought it was all brute, they added some elegance, a yellow steel tank and fenders, all matching like it was going to a wedding. A sprung leather bicycle-style seat, because who doesn't want back pain with their adrenaline? And let's not forget the leaf spring front fork and the rigid rear frame. That's right, rigid. This thing rides like it holds a grudge. No front brake, by the way. Just a 5-inch rear drum brake, because in 1915 stopping was optional. You either slowed down eventually or met Jesus on a turn. Tires, try 2.5 inches by 28 inches front and rear. Wheels, spoked with yellow steel rims. Exhaust, a 2-into-1 black canister that looks like it's suppressing rage. It's basically a historical howitzer with handlebars. Now let's talk legacy. Cyclone only built bikes from 1913 to 1915, and they weren't in the business of quantity. You could count the survivors on your fingers, and that's if you're lucky enough to still have them all after riding this monster. Rumor has it there are only about 14 Cyclones left in the world. That's fewer than my neighbor Bob has unpaid parking tickets. And 5 of those were track racers, probably melted into legends on those deathtrap board tracks. But here's the kicker. This particular Cyclone was restored by Stephen Wright, the man who literally wrote the book on early American motorcycles. So no, this isn't some backyard patch job with duct tape and regrets. This is as close to factory fresh as you can get without time traveling in a DeLorean powered by bad decisions. Now you're probably wondering, Timmy, how much is something like this worth? Well, let's just say, back in 1915, this thing cost around $350, which was basically like buying your neighbor's house and firstborn. But at Mecum's Las Vegas Motorcycles 2025, this Cyclone was sold for a jaw-snapping $1,320,000, or roughly €1,200,000. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay fast, stay curious, and keep those wheels turning.